This video was made possible by Brilliant. Learn with Brilliant for 20% off by being one of the first 200 to sign up at brilliant.org/HAI. You know what would make a bad video? One on what's the longest border in the world, because it's this one, the US-Canada border. Done. You know what would make a slightly less bad video? One on what's the shortest border in the world, since the answer's a bit more complicated. Alright, let's beat that bush. Or around it or something. There are plenty of small countries with short borders such as Monaco, which shares a 2.7-mile, 4.4-kilometer-long border with France, and the Vatican, which shares a 2-mile, 3.2-kilometer border with Italy, but there are bigger countries that share shorter borders such as the UK and Spain. Of course, the British Isles are nowhere near Spain, but the British territory on the Iberian Peninsula is. Despite how it may look, I'm not talking about Malaga, I'm talking about Gibraltar. The British Overseas Territory shares a 0.8-mile, 1.2-kilometer border with Spain, which is not the shortest international border in the world. Down in Africa, there exists a pretty unique border where Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Namibia come close to forming the only place on Earth where 4 countries meet at one point. In the past, it was thought that this was maybe a quadrupoint, but nobody was really sure. Many of the post-colonial era borders were not super well defined. Right here, at this point, Namibia, which was controlled by South Africa at the time, said the border was a quadrupoint with 4 countries meeting at one point, while Botswana said the border looked like this, with them having a tiny little border in the Zambezi River with Zambia, which was important to them since there was a ferry across the river, which served as the only direct connection between the two countries. If the border did indeed look like this, as South Africa said it did, every ferry trip would legally be entering into their territory. So South Africa/Namibia shot some guns and everyone lived unhappily ever after until around 2007 when the 4 countries sat down, did some diplomacy, and decided that Botswana did indeed share this tiny 500-foot, 150-meter border with Zambia, which made everyone happy, except for this guy. What's more, they decided to build a bridge to link the two countries, which will be done in 2019 and will take this big ol' curve in order to stay decisively out of Namibia and Zimbabwe's territory. Now, this tiny border does qualify as the shortest overall border between two countries, as in the total border distance two countries share, but as I'm sure you can tell by us being only halfway through this video, there are shorter single portions of borders between two countries. Exclaves, territories of a country surrounded by that of another, are the key to shorter border portions. You can look at a place like BAARLE-NASSAU. The easiest way to describe this town is like this. This is Belgium, and this is the Netherlands. It's just a messy puzzle of exclaves, the smallest of which is this one. This strange Belgian portion of an empty field has a border length of 800 feet or 250 meters, making it a very short border, but still longer than that Botswana-Zambia border. But remember that time back at the end of the 19th century when Europe decided to be cool to just take all of Africa? Then do you remember that time 50 years later when Europe decided to be cool to just leave all of Africa? See, look, Spain's doing a great job at leaving. Nice job, Spain. There you go. Almost done. Oh wait, Spain, you forgot a bit. Spain, what about these bits? Spain. Half a century later, in 2000 now, Spain still holds these territories in Africa. Ceuta and Melilla are fairly well known as they're decently sized cities, but there are more Spanish territories in North Africa. 6 islands just off the coast of Morocco are controlled by Spain. It's worth noting, all of the Spanish territories in North Africa are disputed territory with Morocco, but each of them is controlled by Spain. In addition to those 6 islands, Spain has another bit of territory in mainland Africa, Peñón de Vélez de la Gomera. This tiny rock was once an island, but a huge storm in the 30s formed this thin strip of sand that connected it with mainland Africa. The Spanish territory is only inhabited by a few dozen Spanish soldiers whose whole purpose is to sit around and make sure the Moroccans don't take it. It's not that this peninsula is strategically important at all anymore, it's just that the Spanish believe that giving this territory to Morocco would open the political floodgates for them returning Ceuta and Melilla to Morocco. The Spanish soldiers can't cross into Morocco and Moroccans can't cross into this bit of Spain, so all supplies and personnel are flown in by helicopter to this heliport. Because this was formerly an island, the border just spans over the sand strip, which makes it exceptionally short. The distance from here to here is just 278 feet or 85 meters, and this is therefore almost certainly the shortest international border in the world. You probably don't need an advanced understanding of geometry to figure out how long this border is, but you probably do to answer this. How many times greater is the green area than the blue area in this image? If you think you know the answer, leave it in a comment, but if you don't, you should take Brilliant's geometry course. It teaches you the intuitive concepts behind geometry so you don't just learn how to answer questions, you understand it. If geometry isn't your thing, Brilliant also has tons of superbly designed courses on topics like logic, statistics, waves and light, and more. To learn more about Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/HAI and sign up for free, and also, the first 200 people that go to that link will get 20% off the annual premium subscription.